Thanks, Cub. Hey, Ajaz. Hope you're well, mate. Mumbai. Uh, are you an emotional type of guy? Like, what does it mean to you to be playing a test against India where you grew up?
Yeah, definitely. It is emotional. I was thinking about it when we kind of landed in Mumbai yesterday, and I was coming out of the airport. The amount of times I've left that airport just to go and visit family or friends, or come back for a holiday. But this time it's a little bit different. Obviously, this time I'm here with cricket and representing New Zealand, and also I guess I've come to Wankiti and watched a lot of IPL games thanks to Mitchell McClenaghan, who's been very kind every time I've been here and sorted me out with tickets, and also bought bowled a few times to Mumbai in their training sessions and stuff like that. So it is pretty cool. And yeah, it's quite nostalgic kind of being here. I guess the disappointment is COVID and not being able to see family, because I'm sure I'd be making a quick trip back home very frequently if it was possible.
Are they able to come to the game, and will they come?
Yeah, I've got a lot of family members actually coming on various days. I guess that's the beauty of Test cricket, and everyone can kind of come in on days that they're free and stuff like that. And the Indian week is always a busy week, so I've got a lot of family coming through on various stages and different days of the game.
Does that make the whole thing extra special? That I take it they don't get to see you play up close and personal that much, if at all. Have they been to New Zealand to see you play much, and what will it mean to you to have them there?
Oh, it'll be really special. Obviously they haven't had the chance to watch me play in person. They've never really seen me play any cricket in person, to be honest with you. And so it'll be the first time, instead of sitting in the stands with them watching, they'll be watching me. So I know that that's really special for me. And I guess even back home, my parents and that, they still haven't watched me play a test match for New Zealand. So, hopefully sometime soon they'll be able to come and watch me as well.
And just lastly from me, mate, do you have any kind of insider knowledge, I suppose, on conditions and what to expect from the Mumbai wicket and that sort of thing?
It's been spoken about a lot. I guess the red clay has a bit more bounce and pace, and so we just, I guess, got to assess what the wicket's giving to us and how it's responding, and we've got to set up a game plan according to that. I guess the beauty about Indian conditions is you have to adapt very quickly, and we know how good these guys are at playing spin and how adept they are in their home conditions. So it is a great challenge, and something we as a unit look forward to.
Good man. Go well. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Hey, Jazz, it's James from New South here, mate. I guess off the back of a pretty grueling 5 days of cricket, how is the team feeling, especially given it's only a few days between the next test as well? How is everyone kind of pulled up from that?
Yeah, everyone's good. Everyone's rearing to go again. I guess that's the beauty of professional cricket now. It is very quick and fast, and things do roll around pretty quickly. And our trainer's done a stellar job in terms of getting guys' bodies ready for the grueling schedule that we have. So I think everyone's pretty good and kind of ready to go.
How much did you take from that, you personally and the team as well, from especially that last day, knowing you can do that in those conditions against some really good bowlers, and also now you're still a chance of winning the series as well? Do you kind of draw on that for Friday?
Yeah, 100%. For us, it's still going into a game with the possibility of taking the series, and we know the history around playing cricket in India, and we know how difficult it has been in the past. And the beauty about this team at the moment is we don't really look at history too much. We look at the present, and for us, we have the sense of self-belief that we can, cause upsets anywhere. And we've done that recently to kind of be able to take the World Test Championship. So for us now, it's just about playing the best cricket possible, and, everyone contributing, just like we saw in the last game. And that's kind of how we look to play. It's not ever really just one individual that comes to the party. It does take a team effort and a collective effort, and that's what Test cricket's all about. And we're playing some very good cricket at the moment, and we're just going to, tap into that and be confident.
What does it say, I guess, about the strength of the team in all areas, given that you've been able to perform in all kinds of conditions? You did it in England. You've obviously got a great record at home in New Zealand as well, and in Asia now there's been a few really good results recently. What does that say about, I guess, the strength of the team in all areas?
Yeah, I think it says a lot about New Zealand cricket as a whole. I don't think it necessarily just reflects on the team, but from the management to the domestic first class setup, and to the setup in between domestic and international cricket in the winter squad, and the programs that New Zealand cricket have had running in the background. If you look at Rachin, for example, he's relatively new to international cricket, and it was his first game, but he looked like he belonged, and that's a product of the environment. And I guess that self-belief that's instilled in you coming through the system, and also the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes. And also at the moment, I believe currently in the New Zealand team, we've got a great mixture of youth and also experience. So a lot of the youngsters coming in kind of draw on from that experience, regardless of who it may be, and the experiences that they've had overseas, and how they've kind of overcome those experiences, or what they've learned from them. And that's the best way for us to kind of keep growing as a team and as individuals.
Yeah, just lastly, we're going to ask about Rachin. I guess when you were out there, what kind of things were you saying to each other? And I guess, did you always kind of believe that you could get there in the end? And what was that kind of that time period like for you guys?
It was quite special, if I'm honest with you. Like for me and Rachin to be out there towards the back end, he was surprisingly calm when I got out there, and he's got a great head on his shoulders. We just basically spoke about looking to play the ball as straight as possible, and if it goes past the outside edge, it goes past the outside edge. But so long as we're keeping the stumps out of play and getting out in front of the pads, that was the most important part. I don't think at any point I really thought about the outcome. I'm not really too sure if Rachin did. I think the outcome is probably where the pressure starts to come. As long as you're not thinking about it and just trying to stay in the present, makes things a lot easier. But it was also a very, very cool moment for both of us, and I guess the irony of it kind of hit home to both of us at the back end of the game, and after the game was over, that two boys of Indian heritage who have been brought up in New Zealand were out here playing against one of the biggest cricketing nations, and trying to fight for a draw, and that's I suppose quite an amazing story in itself, and for us, it was quite special to have that moment and be out there, and I thought it was quite fitting.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hi, Ajaz. It's Kate here from ZB. I hope you're well. And just a few from me. I'm sure there's a few things that you learned in that first test. Is there anything that you want to implement, in the second test that you picked up?
Yeah, I think we were, as a spin bowling unit, I think we were somewhat guilty of possibly not keeping the stumps in play for long periods of time. At the same time, saying that these guys are very, very good players of spin, and that wicket really didn't give us too much as a spin bowling unit. So we've just got to make sure that we're a lot tighter on our lines and our lengths. I'm sure all the boys have picked up on that and have learnt and adapted, and will be adapted to the next game. But obviously the new surface is going to be totally different again, and that's the beauty of playing in India and playing Test cricket, is that every surface is different, and it changes and it challenges you every day. But yeah, I think from a spin bowling perspective, that's probably the biggest thing. From a batting perspective, I think our batters did an outstanding job on that wicket, and against the calibre of spinners that they have in their squad. We saw that they didn't, obviously, they're very good at playing seam bowling, and their seamers weren't as effective as ours were. So it's just about adapting and learning, and I guess playing with the conditions that are in front of us.
Yeah, and just finally, will you feel a bit of pressure playing in front of your family for the first time? I know, it might feel like when you're a young kid and you've got a few fans around. So how's that going to be?
I don't think so much the pressure, but I think more so the excitement. Because I know when I got off at the airport, I had a lot of flashbacks of Mumbai, and leaving Mumbai for the first time, coming back to Mumbai for the first time, coming to Mumbai for my wedding and stuff like that. So I mean, for me, I think it's going to be a very, very special moment, and something that I'm sure I'll look back on very fondly in the future.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Ajaz. At what point on Monday did you start thinking about batting?
To be honest with you, when we were quite fortunate, the coach gave us an extra hour at the hotel to get a bit more rest, and that probably did wonders for us down the back end. But no, I mean, I guess knowing that you're in India and things can happen very, very quickly, you have to be prepared to bat. And for me, I had a coach years ago, a guy named Barrington Rowland, who played a lot of cricket in India. And he played a lot of first-class cricket with a lot of these senior guys like Dravid and VVS and stuff like that. And I remembered the advice that he'd always given me was get your head out in front, get your bat out in front, and make sure it doesn't hit your pads. So that's all I was looking to follow. Against spin bowling, it's definitely a different story for me when I try and score runs. I think defensively it's okay. But when I'm trying to score runs, I tend to get myself out. So I need to work out how to score runs. But defensively, not too uncomfortable around that piece of the game. But you're always watching these wickets go down, and you're always a little bit nervous, and your palms start sweating and stuff like that. So it was quite cool, man. It was a great moment.
You touched on it sort of slightly about how Rachin, was surprisingly calm, but how do you sort of feel when you walk out there and, I guess, he's in his test debut. You've been around for quite a bit, even just in first class cricket, and having that sort of dynamic of you being a bowler and him being a batsman, but having the difference in experience. In the moment, I guess I would almost look at him as the senior in that partnership, in the sense that he'd been out there for a longer period of time. He's experienced the conditions already, and also he's quite an adept batsman, and we all in the squad know what he's capable of with the bat. So for me, it was just around, listening to the advice that was coming from him, and taking that on board. Experience is a funny thing, because just because I've played more games doesn't necessarily mean I have more batting experience. He's a phenomenal batsman, and I'm sure he's going to be a star in the future. You've obviously played against him, back here in domestic cricket, but you were obviously both in Bangladesh, a few months ago. What was that tour like, just generally for you, in terms of being, I guess, part of a different mix of players and probably having more of a sort of a leading role?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. To be somewhat of a leader within the spin environment there in that Bangladesh tour, and those boys were amazing as well. They really adapted very quickly and really took on board what we shared with them as a group. But it was certainly a different dynamic to this environment. In this environment, I guess for the time being, I'm probably the lead spinner with Summers at the moment, and it generates good conversation. I think that's the biggest thing in this environment, is we have a lot of good conversations with each other and as individuals around what we think is the best formula out there, and what's working, what's not working. Because I think communication is the biggest thing, especially in Test cricket when things change so quickly. As long as we and our opinions across, it makes it easier for the next person taking the bat in.
And just lastly, I'm not sure. Can you hear me? Or am I gone? I might be gone.
I can see you. I can hear you.
You can hear me?
I can. I can, yeah.
Sorry.
Hold on, it might have dropped. Can you hear them there now, Ajaz? One moment, please, caller. Is it still got you there, Jazzy, or has it dropped you? Dropped out of the meeting? Yeah. You're absolutely frozen like a portrait on my screen.
Yeah.
As you would.
All right, well, get out of here.
Sorry.
For as a team, we still have a firm faith and belief in that we supposed to perform in all conditions, and I guess that's a new thinking around our cricket and new self-belief around our cricket. Obviously, that we know that they are very good players, very good bowlers of spin. At the same time, we trust and we believe that we have good players of spin as well. I mean, we saw last game, the innings that, in both innings, the way that Tom Latham played, and in the first innings, the way that Will Young came in and played, and also Kane started to find, some rhythm, and we know how dangerous Ross can be when he gets himself in, and even Henry Nicholls is such a good player of spin back home. So we know that we do have the capabilities when it comes from a batting perspective to score runs against the Indian team and adapt enough, I guess, defensively to keep them at bay. So I don't think we're too worried about. Obviously, it's going to be challenging. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, we still back ourselves, I think, to be able to turn things around, even if it is doing that.
And just lastly, it's been obviously, a difficult year, a long year, lots of challenges sort of throwing up. This is the final Black Caps match of 2021. You've been away and back through MIQ twice already. You've got one more to go. How is everyone sort of in the team? Is there a sense that there's sort of one final mountain to climb at all? And when you sort of reflect on this year, what sticks out to you?
Yeah, it's been an interesting winter, hasn't it? It's been a bit of a whirlwind, I guess, going to the England tour, which feels now like it was a long, long time ago. The World Test Championship final, which was quite an amazing game, and then coming home and going through 15 days of isolation after a massive high was difficult. And I'm not going to really be that blunt about it, but it is difficult. It can play tricks with you, and it can be a tough time, especially as a professional sportsman as well, who's used to being active and getting around and getting in the gym and doing training and all of that kind of stuff, and you're kind of sitting idle for 15 days. That can be pretty difficult, and I guess the challenges around that the boys have coped with quite well, and it has been a long winter. I know for a lot of the boys, obviously these guys have come in, some of them from the T20 World Cup, and got straight into another series of T20 cricket within 3 days, and then they jumped straight into Test match cricket. So I'm sure there'll be a few fatigued bodies, but also just mentally, I think it can be quite draining, the whole MIQ process and the travel and always having to wear a mask and living in a bubble and just kind of living from hotel room to hotel room. So I know a lot of them are probably pretty fizzed about getting back home and spending some time with family, and then our show goes on, and we're straight back into cricket very soon once we get home as well. So that's the nature of professional sport at the moment. We're very, very fortunate as well. At the same time, there's a lot of people doing it a lot harder than we are, and we're quite fortunate that we get to go around the world and still play professional sport, whereas I know a lot of people back home have been struggling for a long time, and I do hope that things get better for everyone.
Well said. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
I'm not sure if the crowd goes wilder there or they're just running, but just potentially a last one from me on the breaking news, Ajaz. I mean, rain in Mumbai, so no training today, just to react to that and how that'll affect their preparation.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it'll probably serve a few boys quite well, an extra day's rest and a bit more time to just relax. We know the schedule can be quite hectic and it does move very quickly. So I'm sure the boys will take up that opportunity to have a bit of a rest, but I'm sure a lot of them will be down in the gym, getting their bodies primed and ready to go for the next game as well. So, Mumbai is an amazing place. It is honestly... I can't really explain it. It's something that you have to experience, and it is a sensory experience as well for all your senses: eyes, ears, nose, your taste buds. So, yeah, but unfortunately, we can't really head out there. But it is what it is.
Just one last one from me, Ajaz. Neil Wagner never likes missing a test. How has he been around the traps? Is he getting a bit niggly, bit fiery, bit mouthy? Wanting to play the second test?
No. Waggy's honestly, he is a team man, and anything for the team from him. Like, it's quite amazing. A guy with so much experience and such a senior within the squad. And, you watch how passionate he is about New Zealand cricket. And even in that last game, he was, running around doing everything that he could to contribute. And, towards the back end, he actually ran out with a drink. If I'm not sure if you guys remember, but the last drinks that was run out was from him, and he literally ran out there just to kill a little bit more time and have a little conversation. But he also gave us some very, very sound advice when we were out there in the middle. He said, "Hey, look, guys, what are your thoughts on, Ajaz, you facing Jadeja, and Rachin, you facing Ashwin?" And it was pretty sound advice. And funny enough, 2 balls later, we took a single, and I was at the other end about to face Ashwin. So probably, we didn't really take that on board too quickly, but luckily Rachin took another single, so I was back on strike against Jadeja. So no, but he honestly, like, that's the beauty of this team at the moment. Everyone is just willing to do everything for the team, and sometimes we know that means you miss out, and other times that you get the opportunity. And every time everyone gets out there, they're pretty hungry, and that's the beauty. I guess everyone's looking to perform, everyone's looking to put their hand up, and that's what you need in a championship side.
Thanks, mate. Wouldn't want to face him in the nets, though.
Oh, it's not too bad